Ladies and gentlemen, you ever notice how the world likes to pretend it doesn't see you? How they walk past you, eyes glazed, pretending you're just another shadow in the crowd? But oh, when the mask slips, when the whispers start, suddenly everyone wants to remember your name. The moment they realize you're not one of them, but above them, they panic. They call it arrogance. They call it madness. They call it delusion, because they can't stand the idea that you might actually be royalty in disguise. Not the kind with a crown. No, no. The kind that bleeds differently, walks differently, thinks differently. You were never made to fit in their little circle of comfort. You were born with something ancient, something electric crawling under your skin. And the moment that secret meeting got exposed, oh, how beautifully the world began to tremble. They thought they were watching your downfall. They didn't realize they were witnessing your awakening. People love control. They build rules, walls, names, systems, all just to feel safe inside their tiny illusion of order. They want to believe they've got everything figured out, like a child rearranging toys and calling it a kingdom. But when someone like you steps in, someone unpredictable, untamed, the illusion shatters. You don't play their game. You change the board. You don't ask for permission, and that's what terrifies them. They whisper about you in rooms filled with smoke and fear, because deep down they know they can't control what's already chosen by destiny. You move through their world like a storm that refuses to sign a peace treaty, and they hate that. They hate that your silence speaks louder than their speeches. They hate that your scars don't make you weak, they make you real. You see, control is the drug of the powerless. It's the leash they throw on others to forget how caged they are themselves. But when someone starts remembering who they truly are, when they stop bowing, stop apologizing, stop pretending, that's when the empire begins to crumble. Because the world doesn't fear monsters or heroes. It fears awakening. It fears the moment a person realizes their worth isn't up for negotiation. So let them watch you. Let them plot. Let them whisper. Let them label you dangerous. Because in their fear, they confess something without saying a word. You are the one thing they cannot contain. Truth, funny little thing, isn't it? Everyone claims they want it, until it walks into the room naked, bleeding, unfiltered, unapologetic. Then suddenly, everyone looks away. Because truth doesn't smile, it doesn't comfort, it doesn't hold your hand and tell you pretty lies. It cuts, it burns. It tears down the stories people build to keep their illusions alive. And when you speak it, when you dare to live it, you become dangerous. You see, they taught you that truth makes you vulnerable, that honesty makes you soft. But no, truth is a blade forged in silence, sharpened by betrayal, and tempered in pain. It's not weakness, it's war. When you start speaking it, the pretenders scatter like rats in daylight. They can't stand the reflection you show them, because your truth doesn't beg for approval. It demands recognition. It doesn't ask for respect. It commands it. The world is full of actors all rehearsing their roles, all afraid someone might shout "cut" and expose the scene for what it is. That's why they hate truth. It ruins the show. It ruins the comfort. But here's the beauty: once you embrace it, you can never be manipulated again. You walk differently, talk differently, see differently. Because no matter how many masks they wear, you recognize the tremble behind their smile. And that's power. Truth isn't something you carry, it's something that carries you. It makes your voice unshakable, your presence undeniable. And when the world tries to silence it, when they call you mad, cruel, arrogant, remember, that's not rejection. That's fear, dressed as judgment. Because deep down, they know your truth doesn't just speak, It destroys illusions. Ah, masks. Everyone wears one. Some made of smiles, some of silence, and some stitched together with lies so fragile they crack under a single breath of truth. They spend years perfecting them, polishing the image, rehearsing the tone, learning exactly how to look human. But the thing about masks, they're heavy. And when the storm comes, when the lights go out, when the whispers turn into accusations, that's when the weight becomes unbearable. You see, a crown might slip, but a mask, it shatters. And when it does, oh, how quickly they scramble to hide the pieces. They call you fake for seeing through them, cruel for exposing what they tried so hard to bury. But you never needed a mask, did you? That's what sets you apart. You walked through their masquerade untouched, unfiltered, unmasked. And they couldn't stand it. Because in a world addicted to pretending, authenticity is rebellion. The moment you stop performing, the audience turns against you not because you're wrong, but because you remind them what honesty feels like. Their smiles fade, their words crack, their crowns slip all under the weight of your truth. See, crowns can be inherited, but masks are chosen. They're symbols of fear, not power. You were never meant to hide behind one. You were meant to walk through their lies and make them choke on their own performance. And when their masks finally fall, as they always do, the truth stands naked in the ruins, unashamed. That's the difference between you and them. They built their image. You became your reality. And in the end, no crown shines brighter than the face that never needed a disguise. Power, they like to tell you it's something you earn, something handed down by approval, status, permission. But that's the lie, the grand illusion of control. Real power was never given. It was never granted by kings, systems, or crowds. It was remembered, buried deep inside, under years of conditioning, of being told to wait your turn, follow the rules, stay in line. They tried to make you forget who you are, because a person who remembers their power is uncontrollable. You see, the moment you stop asking for permission, the moment you stop waiting for recognition, that's when they start to fear you. Because power isn't in the crown, or the title, or the applause. It's in the quiet realization that you never needed any of it. You've carried the fire all along. They just blinded you with their spotlight, so you wouldn't see it. They want obedience, not awakening. They want followers, not descendants of fire. But when that memory returns, when you finally remember the sound of your own voice, the weight of your own truth, you become a storm they can't cage. They call it ego, rebellion, madness. No, it's remembrance. The soul reclaiming what was always its own. You don't take back power, you awaken it. You strip away the lies that said you were less, and suddenly the walls begin to tremble. Because deep down, even the ones who mocked you know it's true. You were never made to be ruled. You were made to remind rulers what fear feels like. And when the world finally realizes that your strength was never borrowed, never gifted, that's when they understand the truth. Power doesn't come from the throne. It is the one who dares to stand without it. Betrayal, it always stings, doesn't it? The shock, the silence, the disbelief. You think you've been wounded, but no. What you've really been handed is clarity. You see, betrayal doesn't change who they are, it reveals it. It's a mirror, cruelly lit, showing faces you once trusted under the kind of light they can't hide from. The smiles, the promises, the loyalty, all peel away, and what's left is truth in its ugliest, most honest form. They didn't break you. They just showed you where your strength was hiding. Because every betrayal burns something useless. Illusions, expectations, attachments, and leaves behind something sharp, something real. People fear betrayal because they mistake it for loss. But it's not loss. It's surgery. It cuts away what was rotting, what was draining your energy while pretending to love you. And when the bleeding stops, you realize something: they did you a favor. They freed you from the weight of false connection. You see, the most dangerous thing about betrayal isn't the pain. It's what it awakens. That calm after the fire. That strange silence where you finally stop apologizing for trusting too much. You start to see through people, their tones, their motives, their patterns. All of it becomes clear. Betrayal doesn't make you colder. It makes you accurate. It sharpens your intuition like a blade. Because once you've looked into that mirror and survived what you saw, no one can ever deceive you again. So, let them lie, let them plot, let them call it your downfall. They don't realize every time someone betrays you, you evolve, you lose another illusion, gain another layer of truth. And by the end of it all, you're not bitter. You're just finally awake. They'll say you've changed, that something about you feels different, colder, quieter. They'll whisper that fame got to your head, or maybe pain did. But what they'll never understand is, this isn't you becoming something new. This is you coming back. The version that was buried, silenced, shamed into sleep, is finally stirring. The world calls it transformation. You call it remembrance. Because deep in your bones, there's something ancient, something older than fear, older than doubt. It's the blood of kings, the pulse of something divine. And it doesn't rise to be crowned. It returns to claim what was always its own. You see, awakening isn't loud. It's not fireworks and fanfare. It's quiet. It's the stillness before the storm. It's the moment your reflection stops looking like a stranger. That's when you know the descendant has remembered. You start walking differently, not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you no longer have to. The air changes around you. People feel it before they see it. The same ones who once overlooked you now lower their eyes without knowing why. Because presence, true presence, doesn't announce itself. It's recognized. The return isn't about revenge or validation. It's about alignment. You no longer chase what's yours. You attract it. The universe bends, subtly, like it's been waiting for you to remember the script. And you do. Every step you take now isn't forward, it's backward, toward the throne that never vanished, only waited. You don't rise to power. You reclaim it. Because what's royal in spirit doesn't beg to be seen. It simply walks back into the room, and the room remembers.